Okay. So let's see if I can do this today. Because yesterday I had so many technical issues. I wasn't even able to upload a video because lo and behold, outside of everything else I had go wrong, it told me that the file was too big. So hopefully this works and the file is not too big, because baby, I'm a little upsetty spaghetti. All right, so we have the rooftops. Yes, we have the rooftops. The killer was alone in the room. All right, so we have Carl's, who was alone on rooftop D, right here. There's no extra stipulations. No one was alone in a room. Not every room has to be full. Whatever. Okay. Alone on the rooftop D with one other person. See, I don't like those instructions because you're not alone if you have one other person with you. Unless he's the murderer. So, that being said, Alexander was beside a trash can. Okay. Alexander beside a trash can. Done. Bradley was the only person in a car. Let's put Bradley in a car. Okay. Emilia was on a carpet. Okay. Emilia is now on a carpet. Hensley was beside a crate. He was north of Dawn. Okay, Hensley was beside a crate. See, if I put Hensley here, Bradley has to go somewhere else. I'll put her here. And Dawn was beside a crate. Dawn. Okay. Now, if this guy was alone on rooftop D, I don't understand how he could have been, because rooftop D has currently 2 people extra on it. So, whatever. Hensley, Dawn. Guillen is the only one. And if Guillen is the only one, then I have to move Alex, because Guillen's stipulation here is that he was in a parking lot, and the only parking lot here is about this big. All right. So I'll put Guillen here. I'll put Emilia here. Carl's and Alexander. Alexander can go here because, again, the stipulation is the rules are if there's a person in one, the corresponding row and column are no longer occupiable. So I'm trying to obey that rule. But it's increasingly hard because Dawn's rule is that she was by a crate. But here we go. Here's something that I didn't think about. It says here that Dawn was beside a crate and Hersley was beside a crate. He was north of Dawn. Didn't say they were in the same room. So Dawn could very well be over here next to a crate. And the rules are still obeyed because she is still south. Excuse you. Ew. And because Hersley is still north of Dawn. So that's good. All right. We have Hersley taken care of, Dawn taken care of, Bradley taken care of, Guillen taken care of. Emilia's on a carpet. Good grief, Charlie Brown. I think I have fudged this up because she was alone on rooftop A or C, right? Alone. So that means Emilia has to move to a different rooftop. And the only other place she has is right here. Listen, lady, I want you red like everyone else. Amelia, there we go. And I put Miss Francine right there. Okay. So now the only one left is Carl's. Carl. Okay. So let's start marking off. We have this row, mark off by rows first so we can see who is the murderer. Okay, rows, now columns. Column, 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 column. What am I not seeing? Listen, Vlad was killed by somebody. Let's do this a different way, I suppose. Hold on. Let me erase, start again from the beginning. So we have Francine alone on rooftop A or C. Rooftop A. Vlad, dead. Carl's alone with one other person. Check. Hersley, north of Dawn. Beside a crate. Check. Amelia is on a carpet. Them texture issues, man. We got Bradley, the only person in a car. Guillen in the parking lot. Perfect. Dawn beside a crate. Perfect. Alexander beside a trash can. Okay. Everything's checked off. So now let's no, that's too thick. That row is done. That row is done. Okay. Guillen. Amelia. Francine. Okay. To me, it's looking like Alex, but I could be wrong. Now let's do the columns. Dawn's column, Francine's column, Bradley's column, Guillen's column, Alex's column, Amelia's column, Hershey's column. You know, I very much think that maybe Vlad died of natural causes, because nothing's coming up. All right. Coroner says he died of a heart attack. The murderer is fate. Okay, on to the next. Murder in Paris. All right. Let's see. Murder case in Paris, 9x9, blah, blah, blah. Vinny was murdered. Oh, I don't know how I did that. Okay, hold on. Can I have normal screen now? Okay. Why is it dark? Hello? Okay, whatever. Whatever. I'll deal with it. Same rules apply. Any person in a box, the corresponding column and row are no longer occupiable. There is one stipulation here. There was no empty room. There was no empty room. So that means every room, restroom, living room, dining room, kitchen, master bedroom, and guest room has someone in it. So what we're going to do is we are going to go through. So there was a TV in his room. He was in the same row. Row being that way. So he was in the same row. Let's put Abdullah right here. Bruno was in the corner of a room. He was not in the kitchen. Bruno for being creepy. Here we go. There was a TV in her room in the same column. So she was... There we go. Perfect. Daphne was in the restroom. Daphne had bad Taco Bell and was stuck in the bathroom. Evelyn was on a carpet. She was alone with a man. Alone with a man on a carpet. Since there's only 2 carpets, I'm thinking that maybe Evelyn is here and Catherine is here instead. Fabrice, he was the only person sitting in a chair. Fabrice was in a chair. I'm going to put Fabrice in this bathroom chair. Why? Because why not? And then I have to move... No, I gotta move her. Because Fabrice can't be sitting there. There's only 2 chairs. Okay, hold on. Fabrice. Listen, Linda. I'm gonna have to move you. I'm gonna put Fabrice in this chair because then it's not weird. I'm gonna put Catherine back in this chair. And Amelia in this carpet here. He's gonna go here, and she's gonna go here. Perfect. There we go. Get out of my food. For real? You just think you could walk up to my stuff and eat my food, cat. For real? The audacity. Sorry about that. I have no clue how to get rid of that out of the recording, so have fun. He was the only person sitting in a chair. Done. Fabricio's in a chair. George was on a bed. Oh, so Evelyn is with George, and George is on a bed. Cool. So that means I gotta move this chick right here. Wow, okay, hold on. Hank was beside a plant. I'm just gonna put Hank in here. And victim is the victim. Alright, so she's gotta be in the same row. Or Abdullah's gotta be in the same row as a TV. And in the same room. And in the same room. So if I put Abdullah over here, that means she's got to get moved somewhere else. Over here, that means she's got to get moved to right here. Nope, can't do that. I can move her here though. Okay. And this one's got to get moved. Still next to your plant. Okay. All right. So let's see this. We have Abdullah by the TV in the bedroom in the same row. Abdullah, same row. Hold on. Same row as the TV. Perfect. Done. Bruno was in the corner of and was not in the kitchen. Bruno in the corner, not in the kitchen. Catherine was in the same column as the TV. Column as the TV. Perfect. Done. Daphne was stuck in the bathroom. Something about Taco Bell, I'm sure. Evelyn was on a carpet. She was alone with a man. Evelyn on a carpet. And there is a man in here, George, who was on a bed. Perfect. Fabrice is the only person sitting in a chair. Yep. Good job, Fabrice. And Hank was beside a plant. Okay. Let's do the do. This row is occupied-o. Occupied-o. Done, done, done. Alright, and we're marking these out so visually I can see what columns and rows are left. Because the only box left is where the victim is, and wherever the victim was, there's 2 boxes. I'm missing somebody. I'm missing someone. There's 2 boxes open. See, he has to be in a corner. Fabricio has to be in a chair. See, I could put her here. Oh, I can't put her there because I didn't see that. So I have to move her. Hold on. I'll put her here. She still has to be in the bathroom. Okay, there we go. Let's try this again. Column. Row. 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 This row. This row. That row. That row. Okay, perfect. Now the column. Now this column. Okay. This column. That column. Uh-oh. I'm having the same issue. Hank and Abdullah can't be in the same column. So I'm going to put Hank here. There we go. Let's try this again. Oh, can't do that. There's nobody there. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, okay, okay. That, yep, yep, yep. All right. What's his name did it? Bruno did it. Bruno did it because he's a weirdo and was standing in a corner. All right. Done. Figured it out. All right. Murder in Paris, rooftops, roadside houses. Let's do that. All right. So, Anna, stop. Anna, Bob, and Clark were in their respective houses. So here's Anna's house, here's Bob's house, here's Clark's house. All right, so Anna is in her house. Let's put her here. Bob is in his house. Right here. And Clark is in his house. Right here. Okay. She was exactly 1 column east. Okay, so north, south, east, west. North, south, east, west. Put that there to remember because, I don't know. There was a woman in his room. Bob, what are you doing, brother? Diana was alone with a man who was sitting in a chair. So who else was sitting in a chair? I'm assuming Bob now. Bob was sitting in a chair, and Diana, or Dina, there it is, Dina, was alone with Bob. All right, Dina, I'm gonna put you here. Okay, so now, ooh, I gotta fifth solve this. Dina, east of Dina, sitting in a chair. There's a woman in his room. Clark, one column east of him, there was a man in the front seat of a car. But the only person in a car is she was in a car. Okay, it doesn't say she was the only person in a car. So Emil was in Anna's yard or Bob's yard. He was not beside a bush. So not beside a bush. Let's put Emil right here. Okay. Not beside a bush. Finnegan, one column west of him, there was only one person in a bed. Finnegan. Oh, I can't put Clark there. Hold on. Clark can go here, though. No, can't put him in a chair. Can't put him anywhere. All right, Emil, you're going to have to move to someone else's yard. That way Clark can be in his bed. And Finnegan can be in the front seat of a car. Ooh, this is coming together. Hold on. One column east of him. Hey, that is coming together. Okay. Perfect. And Georgia was in the front seat of a car. Front seat. Okay. So the only spot here available is that one. I think. Maybe. Done. Oh, it's looking like Anna. But then there's other spots too. I don't know. Oh, Emil can't be here. And you can't be by a bush. And you can't be where Clark was. Okay, so hold on. Let's figure this out. One column west of him, there was only one person in a bed. One column east of him, there was a man in the front seat of a car. Emil, you really fucking this up. Why you gotta be out in the woods, man? Why you gotta be outside like a creepy person? Was not by a bush. I can put Emil here, but then Anna has to be in a chair. I don't see why she can't. It's her house. And there's no stipulation saying that there was only one person sitting in a chair. So, Anna can be there. All right. Done. Done. Dina. Clark. Bob. Ferguson. Georgia. Emil. Alex. Oh, Emil did it. Emil did it because he was the only one outside being creepy. Figured it out.